Hello everyone and welcome to Beginner's Code, a place for you to learn with me as I dive deeper into the coding world. Before I start, if you haven't yet, please check out my new website that went live last week, including my first blog, Welcome to Beginner's Code. You can also look at my posts on Instagram that go into detail about the basics of Python, or if you're looking for source code for some projects, then by all means, check out my GitHub where there are almost 70 projects that you can explore. The links for these will all be in the descriptions below, so please do check them out. Also, don't forget to subscribe to see more videos from me as I teach you through the basics of Python. Today we are going to be going through 3 different ways of coding a number guessing game. The first will be using while loops and if statements, the second will be using functions, and finally the third will be using object-oriented programming by creating a class. If you don't know what these are, then please subscribe to my channel as I will be releasing videos over the coming weeks that explain these in more detail. So the first line of code we're going to write is import random. This imports the random module that comes built in with Python. If you haven't used the random module before, do check it out online. There is a lot of documentation for it. The next line is correct equals false. So this assigns a false boolean to the variable correct. The next line is number equals random.randint, and it takes in 2 parameters. So this will basically assign a random number between 1 and 100 to the variable number. We then create a variable guessCount, which is equals to 0, and this will be incremented every time a user has a guess. So now to start the while loop, we type while not correct, which basically means while true. We then assign a variable to a user input, asking the user to enter a number between 1 and 100, and then we increment the guess count by 1. Next, we type an if statement, so if the integer of guess is double equals to the number that's created by the random module here, then we print congrats, this took guess underscore count guesses, and then we break the while loop using the break statement. We then type in else if the integer of guess is bigger than number, we print your guess and we put in the guess is too big, and then else if the integer of guess is smaller than the number, we print your guess is too small. And finally, we put in else print that is not a valid number. And if we save this and head over to our terminal and we cd into where it's saved, so cd into desktop, cd desktop, and then Python guessing game. Okay, so enter a number between 1 and 100, 43, 43 is too big, 32, 32 is too big, 21, 21 is too big, 17, 17 is too big, 9, too small, 14, too big, 11, too small, 12, 13. So that took 9 guesses. Okay, so to start with again, we will be importing the random module. We will then define our first function called guess, and we will try to take in a user input, which will be assigned to the variable numGuess. So we will take int and wrap the user input in the integer. Please choose a number between 1 and 100. And then accept. So if they don't put in an integer, then this error will be thrown, and rather than actually throwing an error and causing our whole program to stop, it will just print please enter a valid guess. And then finally, if everything goes well, we will be returning numGuess. So the next function we will be defining is start, and we will assign the variable ready to the user input of are you ready to guess, type quit to finish. So now if the variable ready is double equals to the string of quit, we will return false, else we will return true. The next function we will be defining is correct, and this is where our logic of comparing the numbers will come in. So if attempt is double equals to number, then we will print congrats. Sorry, this took guess underscore count guesses. And we will then return false. Else if the attempt is greater than the number, we will print your guess is too big, and we will return true. And then else if the attempt is smaller than the number, we will print your guess attempt is too small. And then we will print true. No, we will return true. And else we will print please enter a valid number. So now we will create a variable called number, and we will assign it a random number between 1 and 100. We will then create the guess count, which will track how many guesses, and we will then assign the ready variable, which is being created, to the start function. Now, while ready, so if this function comes back as true, it will mean that the while loop started. So while ready, the attempt is equal to guess. So we will create an attempt variable and assign it to this num guess. Guess underscore count will be incremented by 1, and then we will change the ready variable to correct. And if it comes back as false here, then the while loop will break. So let's go and check that everything has worked out. We will cd into the desktop, Python, guessing game version 2. Are you ready to guess? Yes. Choose a number. 56, 75, 89, 79. Amazing. Took 4 guesses. Okay, so the third and final way, we will be using object-oriented programming. So the first line of code is import random. The next line, we will be creating a class and we will give it the name of game. We will then create an initializing method, which will take in 4 parameters: self, attempt, number, and guess underscore count. And we will give it the attributes of self.attempt is equals to attempt, and self.number is equal to number, and self.guessCount is equal to guessCount. We will now create a method called guess, which also takes in the self parameter, and this will allow us to access the attributes listed above. And if self.attempt is double equal to self.number, we will print success. This took self.guessCount guesses. And we are then creating a gameOn variable, which will be assigned the boolean of false. Else if self.attempt is bigger than self.number, we will print your guess self.attempt is too big. Else if self.attempt is smaller than self.number, we will print your guess self.attempt is too small, else we will print please enter a valid number. Now outside of the class we will create a new function called start, and we will create a variable called ready, which will assign user input of are you ready, enter quit to finish. Now if ready is double equals to the string of quit, we will return false, else we will return true. Now we just need to create some more variables. So game on, we will assign start, and that is the start function that we've just created. We will then create one called target, which will take in random.randint, and it will create a random number between 1 and 100. And we will also create the guess count, which is 0. So while game on, which means if the start function returns true, then this while loop will start. So while game on, the num, with a new variable of num, is equals to an integer of user input. Please enter a number between 1 and 100. We will create a new variable called guessing, which is equal to the class of game, which needs to take in 3 parameters: attempt, number, and guess. So in this sense, the attempt is equal to num, because that's the number that the user's just typed in. The number that they're trying to guess is the target, and the guess count is guess count. And to access the method of guess, which is inside the class, we need to use guessing, the variable, and then dot guess. And now if the num is double equals to the target, we will break, else we will increment the guess count by 1. So let's save that and head over to terminal. If I clear this, cd into the desktop, and then Python guessing game version 3. Are you ready? Yes. Enter a number between 1 and 100, 56, too small, 75, too small, 89, too small, 94. Amazing, took 3 guesses. And that's all for today's video. If you like what we've been through today and you want to learn more, please drop a like and subscribe to my channel to keep up to date. Next time I will be doing the same, showing multiple ways to code the same program. If there's anything you'd like me to cover, then please drop a comment below or reach out to me on Instagram or through my website. Thank you, and see you next time.